All right, be honest for a second. Have you ever met someone who constantly talks about their massive, world-changing goals? They outline the whole path, they obsessively research all the best tools, but then years pass and absolutely nothing changes. Or, well, maybe worse, is that person actually you? So why do we dream so incredibly big, but then do, well, absolutely nothing? Let's dive right into this explainer and unpack this fascinating paradox. Because getting stuck in the planning phase, it isn't just you being lazy. It's actually a highly complex neurobiological trap that our own brains set for us.
Okay, starting off with part one, the illusion of progress.
Welcome to what psychologists call ambition theater or phantom progress. This is basically when you fully adopt the aesthetic of success. You buy the perfect domain name, you download 50 productivity apps, and you tell literally everyone about your big idea. From the outside, it's a grand production. But backstage, absolutely nothing is moving. You're just putting on a show for yourself. Now, this next part is actually mind-blowing. Psychologist Gabrielle Oettingen found that simply visualizing a positive outcome literally drops your blood pressure. It physically drains the energy you need to act because your brain thinks, hey, we already did the thing. The actual cure for this is something called mental contrasting, which means vividly imagining the actual obstacles in your way so you can prep your brain for reality. See, when you're constantly daydreaming about future success, your brain gets a massive hit of dopamine. This creates a literal rehearsal addiction. Planning basically becomes this perfectly safe hiding place where you never actually have to face a messy first attempt. And the crazy part, by the time you finally need to take action, you're exhausted from all that overthinking.
Which brings us to section 2, the ancient trap known as akroshea.
Listen, if you feel guilty about all this, don't worry. Humans have been struggling with this exact same mental loop since ancient Greece. They called it akrosia, which means acting against your own better judgment. Aristotle described it as this massive internal conflict where your emotional impulses completely hijack your rational plans. You know you should be working, but you scroll on your phone instead. You are knowingly choosing the inferior option. And the modern equivalent of this? Good old analysis paralysis. Winston Churchill actually hit the nail on the head here. He warned that demanding perfection simply equals paralysis. The absolute terror of failing to execute perfectly is exactly what keeps you trapped in an endless, exhausting loop of tweaking and researching.
Moving right along to section 3, the intention-action gap.
Check this out. The data shows that up to 69% of people with the full intention of starting a business never actually do it. They fall straight into the entrepreneurial intention-action gap. And the bridge across that gap? It definitely isn't more planning. It's something called psychological capital. Without the resilience to handle failure and the hope to push through, those massive intentions never survive the jump into the real world. So, how do we fix this? That's section 4, breaking the motivation loop. Psychologist Peter Gollwitzer actually mapped out how to escape this. He proved that a vague desire, what he calls the pre-decisional phase, is literally never enough to get you moving. To get an idea out of your head, it must be forcefully transitioned into a concrete action plan. You have to consciously flip the switch from I want to do this to I am doing this right now. To make that jump, you absolutely need an implementation intention. It's a fancy academic term, but it really just means deciding in advance, if X happens, I'm going to do Y. So for example, if it hits 8 a.m. on Saturday, I will sit down and write for exactly 1 hour. This completely automates your response and forcefully drags you out of daydreaming mode. And here is the harsh truth. You've got to stop relying on motivation. Motivation is just a fleeting dopamine high that evaporates the second things get difficult. To bridge the gap, you have to rely on discipline. And discipline? It's incredibly unglamorous. It is doing the boring, tedious, repetitive work every single day, regardless of whether you feel inspired or not. Ultimately, the absolute only cure for ambition theater is to execute version 1.0. Listen, it's going to be ugly, it's going to be embarrassing, and it's going to be super messy. But the very second you do something badly in the real world, you instantly break the loop. Phantom progress simply cannot survive contact with reality. At the end of the day, having a big dream doesn't make you special. Ambition? It's incredibly common. What is actually remarkable is having the pure grit and discipline to act on it. So I want to leave you with a challenge. Stop planning, stop the endless research, and stop daydreaming. What is your messy, embarrassing version 1.0 going to be today?